Hello, 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 y'all. Make sure my mic is close enough.
Simply type in your name and industry into the AI app.
Oh, let's do that. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's good to be here. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay because you can always catch the replays and things like that. I set a goal time. Sometimes I don't always meet that time, but I'm here. Hey, Kuwana. How you doing, love? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We got a nice hot topic today. I welcome in women and men because this is a topic that women and men need to know. Okay. As a feminine, Kuana says she's doing good. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I am still getting over a cold. So, but other than that, I think it's a lot of sinus going on. So if I'm breathing a little heavier than normal, that's why. It's not because I'm out of shape or anything like that. I'm just my sinuses. Hey, Gemini rising. Hey. So yes, I think the lighting is good. It looks like it's a little dark on my phone. Maybe I should. I think it's okay. Kawana says, welcome in, everybody. Please hit that like button. Thank y'all so much for doing so. But like I was saying, as a feminine in this patriarchal system, I think this is a very much so needed topic for men and women who are willing to hear the truth of things or ready. Okay, because you got to be ready to hear certain truths. Okay. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and read my disclaimer because let's go ahead and get that out the way so that we can get started. So, quick disclaimer. I will either inspire you or trigger you. Okay. Watch at your own risk. Either way, I'm going to speak the truth and I'm going to speak my truth and I'm going to speak my whole truth. Okay. The insights shared in this video are my spiritual observations, personal interpretations, and intuitive downloads intended to expand consciousness and support inner awakening. This content is not intended to replace professional advice or dictate personal beliefs. All information shared is offered with respect to your free will, discernment, or soul path. Take what resonate, leave what don't. Okay. Truth is often felt, not forced. This content is also protected under the Copyright Fair Use Act 107 for purposes of commentary, criticism, education, or transformative use. I know that's a long disclaimer, but I wanted to make sure that I hit every nail on the head with my disclaimer. Okay. I know it's long. So yes, it's spiritual detective, Lady Isis, if you fancy. Welcome in everybody to those who are subscribers, those who are new, those who are watching from the bushes, haven't subscribed yet. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Okay. And yes, so basically today's topic is about the power of that kitty cat. Okay. That pussy power, the power of the womb. And I can guarantee that most of everything that we, okay, as a collective, have been taught since birth was a lie. Okay. I decided to go with this topic for tonight's live because it's still centered around children and it's informative. And I thought that this will be a good time to dive into the womb wisdom and the warrior spirit and how we as divine feminines, okay, or divine beings of fertility can provide sacred protection for our children, and how the importance of healing trauma, okay, plays a very significant role in being able to carry out that warrior spirit and that womb wisdom, and acting and protecting from a place of sacred energy, right? And protecting from a place of divine law. Hey Robin, how you doing? She say, hey everyone. Hey Robin. Okay. So the womb as a power portal, or a portal of power. Okay. I'm feeling like, how should I put this here? Because the first lie that I discovered upon my awakening, my spiritual journey, was the fact that I was believing, per religion, right, and per the toxic family dynamic that pushes this religious narrative, I was under the impression that there was a man, God, Sky Daddy, somebody outside of me that was going to come and save me first and foremost. That was the first lie that I believed for quite some time. And it took a lot of reprogramming of my mind, a lot of digging of the truths for me to get to a space where I finally could see the exploitations and the distortions of the actual truth of the feminine, and how all is truly feminine. All comes from feminine. Okay. There will be no masculine if it were for the feminine. Okay. And when I speak of the great mother, I want to make this clear because I know some people may be confused with that. The great mother, from my perspective and on my spiritual journey, represents the creator. Okay. All is created from the feminine energy, including masculine. The great mother is masculine and feminine energy. Okay. So when I speak of the great mother, that is who I give my reverence to and my respect to. Okay. And if we really want to be quite frank about some things, feminine, the indigenous copper color 9 ether women were the ones first on this earth. Okay. We are the direct manifestation of the primordial waters. Okay. That's cosmic space, right? That's the primordial waters, the origins of where we come from. Okay. We are the manifestation of that energy. So all is indeed feminine. Okay. Again, I ask that anybody that is listening and anybody that will catch this replay, that you try to listen from a space of open-mindedness versus ego, because your ego is going to want to resist truth and facts because it challenges the beliefs that you have been taught to believe since birth, right? And everybody around you believe the same things, and you guys we all been forced to believe in a certain programming. So when you may hear things that may sound odd or may challenge those beliefs, the first thing that your ego is going to want to do is protect the ego and resist the truth. Okay, so I encourage you to listen with a open mind. That is, how do you listen with the open mind? You basically don't attach any beliefs to anything. You just listen and you process what's being said. And then I encourage you to go and do your own research so that you can get your own truth and figure out what resonate with you. Because again, I'm not trying to put my beliefs on anybody, nor am I trying to put my truths on anyone either. I am just here to provide the information. Do what you will with it. But again, I feel like this is a very important topic in regards to children, in regards to how we protect children and how we show up as a community to ensure the safety of the children, because the children are indeed the future. Okay. So the womb as a portal of power. Okay, so the womb is not just a biological organ. It is a spiritual technology. Okay, and what I like to say is it holds infinite intelligence. Okay, a quantum gateway that connects the physical world to the spiritual realms. Every soul that incarnates passes through this cosmic chamber. In the ancient temples of Kemet, this was known. Okay, the womb was revered as a seat of magic, intuition, and creation. The divine feminine, when awakened, when she knows who she is and the power and the sacredness that she possesses, understands that fertility extends far beyond the physical. Fertility is the ability to give birth to timelines, ideas, healing, freedom, movements, and new consciousness. This is why the womb is targeted through trauma, okay? Because it holds the codes for liberation and divine memory. Now, I speak a lot about the family dynamic and how the family is a system programmed by the matrix to exploit the natural codes of liberation, to push the narratives of trauma, and to ultimately keep the sacred energy of the feminine in a toxic karmic loop, constantly producing karmic cycles. Okay. So Isis represents the mother, the magician, and a master of womb alchemy. Okay. I see we got a few people here. Okay, I see a few people in the chat. All right. I just want to make sure I talk to myself. Even if I do got to talk to myself, it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so Isis is not just a goddess, right? Which in ancient Kemet, Isis is actually Set. It was the Greeks that changed the name to Isis, or Isis is what we pronounce that as. Okay, so Set, the ancient Kemet goddess of motherhood, the magician, and the master of the womb alchemy. She is the template. This feminine energy of Isis is the template for the resurrected and sovereign woman. Okay. After her consort, Osiris was murdered and dismembered. Now remember, this is symbolic. Okay. This is symbolic. So Isis searched for a sacred piece or sacred pieces of Osiris, resurrected him through ancient knowledge, and conceived Horus, the divine child. To me, Osiris represents the divine masculine energy that was destroyed or exploited or pretty much stolen and exploited to create the patriarchal system that we are now subject to today. Okay, like the distorted masculine energy. Okay, so the myths, this myth hold esoteric truths. Okay, so the feminine can resurrect what the world has tried to destroy. It is the feminine, it is the mothers who will bring balance back to planet Earth. Okay, the womb holds life force even in the face of death. Isis teaches us that motherhood is a spiritual act of war and protection, birthing children who carry divine codes and shielding them from the matrix systems. Isis is a blueprint of spiritual sovereignty, reminding us that no external system has dominion over the woman who knows who she is. So the key word is the woman who knows who she is. This will be the reason for us also talking about this and bringing this to the awareness of those who may not know, because it's so important for women to know the power that she possessed only strictly from the fact that we have a womb. Okay, strictly from the fact that you are carrying a portal around. Okay, I need y'all to understand that that's godly in itself, right? You hold the blueprint of spiritual sovereignty, reminding us that no external system has dominion over the woman who knows who she is. Now, the fight comes when there are beings who want to humble the sovereign woman who knows who she is. That's where the power struggle come in at. It's very unnecessary in my opinion, but people will try to humble the woman who knows who she is and does not sway, in her solidness within her mind. Once a woman knows who she is, she can't unknow who she is. There's nothing that a person will be able to do to humble you. Why? Because now you have already done the work and you're continuing to do the spiritual work. You're doing the healing. You're actively healing from trauma. You are actively reclaiming your womb power, your sacred womb power. You are actively activating spiritually to the God that you are. So it's nothing that a person could do or say to make you to humble you into thinking any less than what you know you are. So this is how we are able to show up and be exactly who we are unapologetically, right? Authentically, and not be affected by any outside forces that seeks to humble the divine feminine, the God of this planet, the God of this realm, the creator, the portal. Okay. Sovereignty and mental liberation of the divine feminine. Okay. So some may wonder, well, what exactly is sovereignty? Okay, let's get a few definitions of sovereignty. A few other words, rather. Y'all keeping up? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down, child? As you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, so as what I like to call myself is a abolitionist, right? Against all forms of slavery. That's mental slavery, that's physical slavery, that's psychological slavery, spiritual slavery, all forms of slavery, all forms of oppression. Okay? I am against it all. I am here to help you reclaim your sovereignty, reclaim the dominion over your being and over your 7 spiritual bodies, over your aura, your Taurus field, over all of who you are as a multi-dimensional being. Okay? Because we are more than what we see. We are a whole lot more than what we physically see. And I think that's what a lot of people get fucked up when they think that, oh, you see a person and you judge a person based off how they appear to look, whether you perceive them as soft-spoken, weak, or, not knowing who they are, seeking outside validation, whatever type of things that people, hey, KB, whatever type of things that people come up with when they look at a person and then totally judge them and get shit all misconstrued. Okay, because it's spiritually that actually matters the most. Everything happens spiritually first before it manifests physically, right? So I think that's where a lot of people might get a lot of things misconstrued when they go sending magic and curses and word spells and doing all these dark magic and exploitations and trying to impede on somebody's energy and change the way other people perceive people. All of that is still, to me, an attack on a divine feminine or the divine feminine energy altogether, and they are indeed working with our opposition. So we definitely need to know how to recognize these tactics in real time. Okay, so I feel like some of y'all might have to even listen to this message more than once. We got 13 people in the chat. That's a divine feminine number. Okay, we got 13 moon cycles. We got 13 minstrels. That is a divine feminine number. So I shade to the gods and goddesses and the Great Mother. So there is going to be a lot of things that I touch on in this message. So you may have to listen to it more than once, okay? Because I'm spiritually led, or I'm guided by spirit to speak about certain things. And sometimes to me, it may feel like I'm all over the place, but long as y'all getting what I'm saying, that's all that matters. So I think that when you truly are a sovereign being and you've reclaimed your spiritual sovereignty and you're no longer bound by the power and the hierarchy powers at play in the matrix, you automatically become a target, okay, to this hive mind system that seeks to oppress and then reinforce that oppression of the people, specifically the divine feminines. The divine feminines is the ones that's under attack. Okay? We got it coming from every which way. Every which way. As a divine feminine with a portal. Okay? So, other words for sovereignty is control, it's authority, it's rule. Okay? It's jurisdiction. So reclaiming your sovereignty supersedes the jurisdictions in the 3D realm. Okay. The law, okay, it supersedes all of that. You are now outside of this physical and you are outside of time and space. If that makes sense, you have entered into a whole nother dominion when you reclaim your mental and spiritual psychological sovereignty. Okay. It's your superpower. It's a supreme power to own and operate from your sovereignty, your individual sovereignty. Okay. So sovereignty begins in the mind. This is why the war is on the mind. This is why the government exists. Government literally, the etymology of government literally breaks down to mind control. This is why the government exists, to control the mind. Before a womb is free, a woman's mind must be liberated. It goes together. The mind and the womb goes together. Mental slavery is the first chain placed on the divine feminine. Through religious distortions, media sexualizations, generational shame, guilt, and fear, and the silences of the intuitive voice within. Okay, so it is supposed to be the family's responsibility to instill a sovereign mentality in the child, a sovereign environment around the child, safe spaces for the child to thrive in its sovereignty. The matrix is in total opposition of that, because this is a system of distorted hierarchy. So it is a part of the programming to traumatize the child in childhood. Okay. So the matrix strips the child from its sovereignty and then programs the child to give up its power of sovereignty, the power of our intuition, the power to think for ourselves, right? And be totally dependent on the toxic dynamics in which we were born into. Say, right, Kuana? Right? So an enslaved womb belongs to systems, not spirit. Okay? Not spirit. As long as we have mental chains on our minds, okay, because slavery still does exist. We may not be chained up or bound to a plantation. Slavery did not go anywhere. It simply evolved to mental and psychological and spiritual. Okay, so an enslaved womb belongs to the systems of the matrix, not to spirit. To reclaim sovereignty, the divine feminine must reprogram her subconscious mind. I teach you how to do this in my ebook. Okay. I have an ebook. The link should be in the bio. And I basically teach I teach people, okay, how to awaken the divine feminine within, because even as male and female, we both have masculine and feminine energies. I think I'm more leaning towards actual women though, because it is the women that needs to wake up and realize who they are and reclaim their throne, reclaim their power, and reclaim their sovereignty, their birthright, okay, to be free. And free to express yourself and be creative and be chaotic as you are naturally supposed to be. We are not meant to be controlled, dominated by anyone or anything, or to be submissive to no man. Okay? That is not our nature. That is not our divine nature. Now, when we talk about respect, that's different from being submissive. Okay? To be submissive, according to the dictionary, is to be under the control of someone else. We're breaking free from that control. We want to be sovereign and we want to be respected and have a high regard everywhere that we go. That's what we're seeking to do. Yes, thank you, Kuwana. She put the ebook link there. If you want to get the ebook, you can. Also, if we meet our live goal, I have a physical copy of a book, the ebook that I wrote. I gotta find where I put it. I put it up somewhere, but I'll do a giveaway for that ebook. Okay. But The divine feminine must reprogram your subconscious mind. There is no God coming to save you. You are the God that you are searching for outside of yourself. There's no way to put this. I'm not here to coddle anybody's feelings, okay? I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you either, okay? Because what I'm telling you is going to free your mind. It's either going to free your mind or it's going to trigger you to go look for this information to free your mind. Either way it go is fine with me, okay? You must reprogram your subconscious mind. That subconscious mind is your divine feminine energy. That is the creator of your reality. Okay? Your subconscious mind is actually the drive of how you experience your reality. Yes, you say make sure I know about the giveaway. Yes, it's going on now. If we can meet the live goal, I think I got it set to like 10 $5.99 gifts, I believe. Okay. But if we don't meet the goal today, I'll do it again next time. Okay. I'll even think about running a sale on the ebook as well. One of these days, one of these lives. Okay. Because it's very important that you get this information and you get this knowledge, okay? My ebook I created for you to be able to take a transformative approach, okay? A comprehensive and transformative approach in real time. A lot of times I feel like the load of healing could come off very intimidating or complicated to a lot of people. So the way that I've written my ebook, it is a way that will give you the tools you need to exercise those tools in real time, okay? And really go within yourself and really question some things within yourself and get down to the roots of the problem, okay? And if you need further assistance, we can also talk about me being your guide and helping you transform trauma. Okay. I take a unique approach with all of my clients. It's never the same approach. Okay. Every client is unique. Everybody don't have the same type of problems that they're dealing with, although trauma is trauma. Okay. Every ebook purchase comes with a free consultation. So you don't have to worry about that either. Now, reclaim your inner voice and unlearn beliefs that tell you you are less than God in motion. Okay. So, any limiting beliefs that you may have stored in your subconscious mind that will stop you from listening to that inner voice and your intuition and trusting that your intuition is your divine guide when moving about this 3D realm and spiritually, right? But it requires you to unlearn those beliefs, those lies that you have been taught since childhood. You must question everything. You must question literally everything and everybody. I forgot to put my glasses on, block this, protect my eyes. Yeah, protect my eyes, child. All right. I don't like that glare, but it's okay. So challenging all of your beliefs, right? So you must awaken. We must awaken the discernment, cleanse false projections, and return to our original design. A creator. You are a creator. You are a protector and you are a healer. Okay? That is your birthright. We have been exploited as a collective to not do the very thing that we are set to do in this realm. Okay? Thank you, Kawana. You want to lay down?
Okay. What?
Shh.
Okay, what?
Yes. So this is what we will call mental fertility. Okay, that's the capacity to birth free thoughts, liberated choices, and divine alignment. Okay, so that's the capacity to birth free thoughts. This is why I push for us to be critical thinkers. We must be critical thinkers. We must challenge all beliefs. The moment you stop questioning things is the moment you have become a slave again. There is an infinite amount of knowledge. No one person has all the answers to every question and all of the answers, right? We must individually question everything, exchange our thoughts, exchange our critical thoughts, and operate from a space of individuality respectively. Mental fertility consists of liberated choices and divine alignment. If you are not mentally free, then there's no way that you are in divine alignment with the universe. There's no way, because the universe does not align with any form of slavery. And then there's no way that you'll be able to make liberated choices, because you will always be worried about what somebody think about you. You always be worried about what somebody say about you. You always be worried about, you'll always be bombarded with these limited beliefs, right? Hey, Krisha. Okay. So the spiritual warfare on the children. Children today are being born at higher frequencies, probably, I was going to say probably more than any time period. Okay. They are more intuitive, and they have a higher understanding at, being born, of spiritual sight. Okay. So the Matrix knows this. The Matrix knows exactly what's going on. They're trying to make the necessary adjustments to keep the children enslaved and sacrifice the children and do things that will affect the children, because ultimately it affects the future. That's why there's a full energetic, psychological, and cultural war against our children. Okay, that could be from the toxic foods that they eat, the screen time into programming in schools and shows. The agenda is to fragment the child's spirit and sever them from their higher self at an early age. Now, this has happened to all generations, all children. The goal is to keep us disconnected from source, the divine source, and to uproot us from being connected to divine source and placing us in this matrix system and totally dependent on this false system. That is the goal. This is why the children are being sacrificed. This is why the children are targeted. This is why they make sure they put certain things out in the media to keep our children disconnected from their divinity and their higher source. But the divine feminine, I know a lot of people say the divine feminine is rising. To me, I like to say the divine feminine is, because she never went anywhere. The divine feminine never went anywhere. I like to say the divine feminine is awakening. I guess to me, it just feels like the divine feminine is awakening from being dormant, because she was always here. She is the beginning and the end. The divine feminine is the alpha and the omega. All comes from the feminine. So it wasn't like she disappeared. No, the divine feminine was always here. She was suppressed, depressed, stressed, oppressed, but she was always here. Totally misjudged, misunderstood, right? So it says the awakened mother or womb holder becomes a living force field for her children. I'm going to read that again. So the awakened mother or womb holder becomes a living force field for her children. So as long as the mother is in her sovereignty, right, then she is that source that could ultimately and will protect her children with that living force field that she embodies. Okay? She protects their spirit. She honors their uniqueness and shields them from shields them with ancestral wisdom and spiritual discipline. So the mother is not karmic. The awakened mother is not toxic. The awakened mother is not narcissistic. The awakened mother doesn't seek to control her children. She seeks to guide her children. She seeks to protect her children. She seeks to teach her children. She doesn't want to make her children all be the same because they are all unique. She isn't jealous of her children or envious. She isn't trying to hinder her children from being successful or more successful than she is. She isn't trying to sabotage her children. She definitely ain't trying to sacrifice her children. If anything, she's going to make the necessary sacrifices to ensure the protection of her children. Okay? She knows that her children don't belong to the system, that matrix system, that distorted hierarchy system. They are a part of her divine legacy, right? Fertility as a sacred power, not just reproduction. Every womb doesn't have to birth a baby for them to hold a sacred womb. If you have a womb, you are holding a sacred womb, regardless if you have children or not. Okay? Every womb was designed, okay, to birth divine works. That could be through music, that could be through healing practices, that could be through divinations, that could be through books, that can be through business or movements. Okay? A fertile woman is a creative force of nature, though. Okay? I know there's on TikTok, I've seen a lot of discrepancies around the whole, how can I put this? Like men that are seeking to have the aesthetics of a woman, and a lot of them are basically saying that we are just baby carriers and basically being very disrespectful to that pussy power and that womb power, basically, right? Being very disrespectful. It's one thing for you to admire the woman and want to be exactly like the woman. It's another thing for you to disrespect all that makes us the woman, right? We are the creators of this reality, and that is the problem that the great mother has with her children. That is the problem, the disrespect, the constant exploitation of divine order, and the disrespect to the woman, and specifically the Black woman. Okay? We are the creative force of nature. It is time It is time for women to really, truly realize who they are. We are stronger together than we are apart. We are. Trauma clogs that power. Trauma clogs the power that that is very vital and necessary to the community, to, our womanhood, our sisterhood, our motherhood. Hey, Jesse. Trauma clogs that pussy power. Okay? Emotional abuse, sexual trauma, and shame around the body. These are all spiritual blockages as well. Excuse me, y'all. I told you I'm getting over a cold or sinus or whatever. Okay? So, the path of healing. Inner child reparenting. A lot of us have to reparent ourselves. I'm telling you, it's not an easy task, but it is doable. You can reparent yourself. I promise you. Everything that troubled you as a child, everything that you were taught as a child to believe that was normal, but really it was toxic. Those are the things that you need to start reparenting. Okay. You have to do this. It's no way around it. Healing trauma is no way around it if you truly want to evolve spiritually and ascend into 5D consciousness and above. There's no way around it. Hey, Keish. It's literally no way around it. Okay? So that inner child reparenting is vital. Sacred sexuality and pleasure reclaiming. Okay? Being more protective of what you allow in your womb, who you allow in your womb. Okay? Being more strategic and more protective over our womb space. A lot of this was not taught to a lot of women, including myself. I wasn't taught as a young girl about the sacredness of my womb. And if I was taught anything about my girly part, it was, if you give it up, make sure you leaving with something. It was never to the point where, protect it because it's sacred. Protect it because this is your life force. This is your portal and your direct connection to source. Like, none of that was something that my people taught me, especially being in religion. It's no, you give it up to your husband or whatever the case was, or get married and do it like that. But even that may not be the best thing either, because you don't know what traumas your so-called husband is carrying either. Okay? I believe that marriage is an institution, and we weren't supposed to get married, not in that matriarch, not in that matrix system, to those matrix men that are trauma bound and trauma binding with each other and not healing, and thinking that getting a job, going to school, and having kids and having this white picket fence residence and looking good on the outside was the idea. That's all physical things. None of that has anything to do with true spirituality and true healing. This is why a lot of women find themselves miserable in marriages, because you're thinking, oh, I did everything by the book. I did everything the Bible said do. I did everything religion said do. Everything my mama and them said do. We did it. And I'm still miserable. You're still miserable because you're not evolving spiritually. You're not connected to the very source from which you come from. That's why most men don't seek to heal. Most men don't even want to go to the doctor. Most men don't even want to go see, let alone a damn psychiatrist, to get some mental health. They think that their wives are supposed to be that crutch and enabler for them to continue their bullshit ways and lack the accountability necessary to spiritually evolve. Okay? It's not our jobs to fix a man. It's not our jobs to, reparent him. That's not our job. His mother. Okay, so this is why we're dealing with the mother, especially the mothers with sons. I have sons. So it was imperative for me to learn, how do I raise my sons to be conscious, to be emotionally intelligent, to have self-control, to be able to take accountability and put their egos to the side, okay? Because it's a matter of transforming your ego. Okay, because there's a low vibrational ego and then there's a super ego, right? I'm not saying eliminate the ego altogether, but eliminate the parts of the ego that creates limitations in your human experience. Okay, eliminate the parts of the ego that puts limitations on your spiritual evolution. A lot of men operate from this distorted space of ego because patriarchy tells the man that he is superior to the woman and she's inferior to him. That's what the woman is taught. The woman is also taught by way of religion to seek the validation of a man, to seek to be desirable to the man, to be the man's submissive wife, never to speak out of turn, and to be led by the man. Well, what happens if that man is toxic and traumatized? Where exactly is he leading that woman? And why do they feel like the woman is incapable of leading her own life and leading herself? Who told them that the woman was incapable of being her individual sovereign self, taking up all the space that she needs to be free to express all of who she is? Who told them that? Where did that idea even come from, to want to suppress and oppress the divine feminine and lack the regard and respect for her? These are the questions that I asked. These are the questions that I need answers to and wanted to know, that led me down many rabbit holes, because who told them that they were to control and own me? We should not be looking for the validation of men. We should not be looking for to be desirable and picked by men. We just shouldn't. We're divine feminines. We attract. Naturally, we attract. So if we are in a state of trauma, then we're going to attract that which we are subconsciously, right? Because your subconscious is what's actually controlling your human experience in this 3D realm. This is why I'm saying inner child reparenting requires work, but it's very necessary, and you can't get around it if you truly want to attract that emotional, intelligent partner, friendships, people, places, and things. You have to do that. The Matrix teaches us how to operate from a unhealed, lacking emotional intelligence space, right? These toxic dynamics. It teaches us how to thrive in toxicity. So we find ourselves constantly trying to make excuses for people, situations, right? That's just how they is. It don't get any better. I can't help them, or whatever the case is, right? The matrix literally thrives on our unhealed trauma that they have. They pushed, right? They pushed this trauma shit on to us. So we got to figure out how to heal that, alchemize that, transform that, and become exactly who we were born to be by way of birthright. Okay? So, energetic womb clearing through breath work, movement, sound, and visualizations could also help you reclaim your sovereignty and enter that path of healing. Okay? What are you doing down there? The divine feminine heals her womb, not just for herself, but for her lineage and legacy. I posted a video about this on TikTok earlier in regards to the high priestess, the divine feminine, the witches, the high spiritual beings, right? You know, they have many names, the seers. Okay. And we also got to get out of the idea and the indoctrinations of these words. Okay. Oh, she said witch. Oh, she said this. She said that. Their words. The English language itself is a spell. Okay. So with that being said, we can't really attach any beliefs to certain words. We use the words that we use because this is our way of communicating until we can get back to telepathically communicating with one another. Okay. Let go of the beliefs and the fears placed on certain words. Okay. But anyway, I made a video earlier about how certain karmic men, warlocks, or what I say, karmics, warlocks, the two. Okay, you get what I'm saying. They will enter the lives of a high priestess. Okay, so you may not know you're a high priest because you don't know the power that you possess yet. So they like to get the high priest in a state of delusion, confusion, or just forgetfulness, like amnesia. Okay. But your energetic blueprint and makeup, it reads, honey. It reads high priestess. They know exactly who you are before they even come into your life. Okay. The warlock is sent to the divine feminine, to the high priestess. Okay. To disrupt her lineage and her legacy. Okay. Ultimately, like a sacrifice to that matrix system. Okay. Because the warlock is a spiritually intelligent man, or in some people would call it a jinn, right? A jinn. They are they know how to read energy, and they are spiritually inclined, but they use their spiritual gifts to exploit women and energy siphon. Okay. And to disrupt the lineage in which the divine feminine is solely responsible for implementing and instilling in the child, right? Or living in her fullness and her sovereignty. Okay. They don't want the woman to be in her sovereignty, because then you become a problem to this false matrix system. So they send out these so-called I call them matrix men. Okay. Matrix men are very different from a divine masculine man. Okay. But they send out these matrix men with an agenda to keep the high priest suppressed. So as long as we're believing that we are supposed to submit to a man, and we have this God man sky daddy mentality or belief, then you are spiritually in grave danger. Okay. You are spiritually in grave danger, and you are a target to be easily manipulated right up out your power. Okay. That's how I got to put that, and that's how it's coming to me. Okay. So I try to express this to y'all in a way where y'all can fully understand what it is that I'm saying. Okay. So be very mindful of men that come into your life that come off very seem to connect with really quickly, or the relationships seem to be moving fairly fast. Just be very mindful. I actually encourage women to take out time to be celibate and single. You cannot fully see yourself unless you are celibate and single. Okay? If you really want to get to know who you are as a woman, I highly encourage you to take the time out to be with your own energy. I don't even want to say alone, because you're truly never alone. You have your spirit guides, your ancestors, source, you have yourself, okay? And if you got kids, you got them too. It wasn't until I took the time out where I feel like the universe forced me to be in a position to be single and celibate. And I thought the world was ending. Like, there's no way. I got to be single. I got to be this. But at the time, I was like, you know what? I want to be single. I can't do another toxic man. I can't do it. Right? So the universe placed me in a position where I was single and celibate. And have been for quite some time now. Hey, Miss Sexy Ray. He say so true. Hey, Miss Sexy Ray. So if you truly want to reconnect to source as a divine feminine and truly get to know who you are as a individual and as a woman, stop it. You want to be able to take the necessary time out in your own space. You may realize, actually, I don't want to be married. Actually, I like living on my own. Actually, I don't want to get up and cook every day. Actually, it just may be things that you may realize about yourself that don't resonate with you, and you don't want to agree to any of those things that patriarchy tells us that we need to be as women, that our family dynamic tells us that we need to be as women, and that religion tells us that who we need to be as women. I am at a space now where there is no compromising myself to have a man. I'm not compromising anything about me to have anybody's toxic son in my space. I'm not dumbing down who I am to have anybody's unintelligent toxic son in my space. I'm not dumbing down anything about me. If you can't keep up with my intellect, then I'm just not the one for you, because I seek and I find information, truths, and things that, keeps me intellectually inclined. So I'm not looking to have my space taken up by a man who doesn't do the same things that I do, or don't seek to evolve spiritually and, seek emotionally intelligence and things like that, right? I'm not sacrificing anything about me to have a man. Now, I don't feel like I feel like there was parts of me years ago, before I became who I am today, where I would sacrifice parts of me, but not all of me. But I did compromise parts of me because I felt like that was the ideal thing to do. You got to have this family. You got to have the man in the house with the woman and the kids. Like, I was really believing in that concept of family, until the great mother showed me and, really took me down this rabbit hole of motherhood, and told me that you can be exactly what your children need. You can be that. You can seek to heal parts of yourself and all of yourself so that you can show up in your fullness for your children. You determine what a successful family looks like. See, it's society that tells us the family dynamic needs to look like male, female, and children. That's not what success looks like to me, especially if that man is toxic and counterproductive to the way that I want to raise my children. So I had to gain a new perspective on what I view a successful family as. Even being a single mother by choice, right? You can be a successful single mother and raise conscious and aware children, okay, that knows how to take accountability and are emotionally intelligent. You can do that because children mirror their environments. Children mirror exactly who you are as a parent. So being a single mother and raising children and thinking that you are incapable of raising those children to be high vibrational beings and spiritually inclined beings, that's a lie. That's an illusion. You know, success is dependent upon what you believe success is. Okay? Yes. Can I have my glasses now? Thank you.
What kind of place?
All right. Are there any questions? Are there anything that you guys want to say? I got a few more points to hit on, and then that's gonna be that, girl. Okay. So, rights of protection of the womb, child and inner child. You need to put that down. Put that down. Okay. In the spirit of Isis, we remember that ritual is power. Okay. Rituals aren't just routines, okay? They are energetic declarations. So there are some things that, and we want to get out of the idea that doing rituals are demonic. It's religion. Everything that religion told us is demonic. We need to reevaluate and investigate. Put your detective hats on, your spiritual detective hats on, and reevaluate everything that religion has told us is demonic. And what you will find is everything that religion tells you is demonic is everything that makes up the divine feminine, which is you. They demonize all of you. If that ain't wicked, I don't know what is. Knowing that the divine feminine is the spiritual protector. Okay? You demonize her intuition, you demonize her womb, you place control and chains on her womb, tell her what she can do with her body, when she can do with her body, how she needs to totally depend on man to think for her, to lead her, as if she's incapable to do those things for herself and be her individual self. Okay? So it is not demonic to have rituals. That is the way of our ancient ancestors. That is how the high priests operate. Okay? Magic, rituals, okay? Wielding energy, alchemy. That is who we are. It's been demonized nonetheless, but go and really do a deep dive in the ways of our ancient ancestors. Go to Kemet. Go to ancient Kemet and see the things that they did as goddesses. Okay? So I'm not going to give you guys all the answers to everything. We have to do our due diligence and go out and seek this information and allow spirit to guide you in a way that it will resonate with you and make sense to you. Black girl magic. Absolutely. We are indeed magic. And she typed that at 123. That is in divine alignment. 123, Krisha. Black girl magic. I love that. Okay. So some modern day or modern rites inspired by Isis would be womb sealing rituals. So that's using your intentions, your herbs, sound, okay, that is sound frequencies, and breath to cleanse and protect your energetic womb space. Ancestral shielding prayers. So that is invoking the energy of Isis and protective ancestors over your children and lineage. I am a living witness of this. The energy of our ancestors, okay, because we understand and we overstand now that energy does not die. It literally transform or transfer. It does not die. If anything, our ancestors are more free to go be between realms as energy. So your ancestors are not demonic. You are doing yourself a disservice if you are not honoring your ancestors, your high vibrational ancestors, and your spirit guides. Okay. You are doing yourself a disservice because they are here to help guide and protect. Okay, so acknowledge them and give them reverence. Okay, especially if you have children and you have the desire. We got 111 that I've been live. It says 111 up there. If you have the desire to protect your children and your lineage, be sure to connect with your ancestors. Okay. Or just if you don't have children, this still apply. Still apply. Same thing. Mirror work and affirmations. Huge thing. Huge ritual. Okay. If you ladies or men that's watching this live or catch this replay, if you want to know any of my mirror work affirmations, I can either do a video for y'all or I may can post it to the community post, and I can give you an idea of what mirror work affirmations will look like or what you can say. Okay, because it's very important that when you look in the mirror, you are not looking at yourself from a perspective of self-hate or a perception of self-hate or anything other than the beauty that you see in a mirror. Okay, whether you have on makeup or not. When you look at yourself in a mirror, you should feel beautiful. You should feel peace and happiness, right? And even if you don't, because sometimes we have been so broken down as women that it's hard to look in the mirror at yourself. And it takes time to get to that place where you truly see all of you and appreciate all of you who you are as a sovereign woman. Okay. It may take time, but you got to start somewhere. Okay. This works. Look in a mirror and you speak affirmations to yourself. I am worthy. I am beautiful. I attract all that I need and more. My children are protected. I am protected. I am divinely guided and protected. Whatever comes to mind, and again, if you need ideas on what to say, I can post it to the community post, but speak life into yourself. That mirror work is truly magic. Truly. Because you're looking at the God that you are. You're reconnecting to your higher self. Okay? That mirror is mirroring your higher self. Then you'll notice that you will start operating from that which you have affirmed to yourself. You will start operating from that space. You will start taking more care of how you appear and how you show up in the world, what you tolerate, what you won't tolerate, how you view yourself, right? Mirror work and affirmations. So speaking sovereignty into your womb daily. My womb is holy. My mind is sovereign. My children are protected. You look at yourself dead in the eyes and you say those things and you mean it. Or you keep saying it until you do mean it. You know, to fake it till you make it. You ain't really faking it. You're transforming. You're becoming your greatest version. And you got to start somewhere. And it's got to be uncomfortable. It's going to have to be uncomfortable for you to reach the heights of who you wish to become. Transformation nobody ever said transformation doesn't come with uncomfortability. You're going to have to be uncomfortable for a good reason and for a good cause. Okay. Circle rituals with other women. Okay. I have a sisters of Isis um group that I'm very strategic on who I allow in this group because it's very sacred to me. And I've had many trials and tribulations with sister groups, and I've learned a lot of things. And yeah, so sisterhood is a spiritual armor. Sisterhood is a spiritual armor, and healing with others magnifies that power. Or we can even do some sisterhood spiritual armor rituals on the channel, okay? Where, I may just do a members only type of thing. I have to think about that and I'll get back with y'all, okay? Where we can focus on healing rituals and connecting to that inner power of our womb as a collective. Okay. The esoteric meaning of an ankh. I just wanted to kind of touch on this a little bit. I don't have my ankh necklace on, but you guys know what an ankh is, right? You know what an ankh looks like. It is not the cross. It is with the circle at the top and then the cross at the bottom, which represents divine masculine and feminine. It also represents the womb and the phallus, So, unlike the cross that represents total masculinity and homosexuality. Yeah. Religion wants nothing to do with the divine feminine other than for her to be suppressed, depressed, and stressed and under their feet. That's the only thing religion wants from the woman. And to use and exploit her creative force energy to keep up this patriarchal matrix false system. Because even with this matrix system that is currently falling, okay, we like they say divine feminine rising or awakening. That's exactly what we're doing. She's Christian says yes. Okay, so we know that the ankh is the original cross. The ankh is the original cross and the original representation of divine masculine and feminine energies. Okay, the ankh is the most powerful symbol of the divine feminine and life itself. Okay, life. Excuse me. The loop at the top of the ankh, which I like to show y'all pictures of things. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, I swear it's like at nighttime. That's when the cold get even worse. Oof. Okay. Okay. Let me just put a picture up. Okay, so there's the picture of the Ankh, which I know a lot of people obviously may know what this is and what it looks like. But for those in the back that don't know, this is the Ankh, okay? And we got the circle at the top, okay? The loop here that represents the womb or the yoni. That is the sacred feminine portal, okay? The vertical line represents the masculine force or spine. Hey, my baby took my cup of water. Oh, here it go. And then the horizontal bar represents the union of heaven and earth, the balance of masculine, feminine energies. Also, what I'm feeling like, as above, so below, right? Heaven and earth. That's what as above, so below means. Okay. Thank you, Krisha. She sent the super chat. Appreciate you, love. So the Ankh together, it is not just a symbol of eternal life, although that's very important because it is that too, but it's not just that. It is a symbol of divine creation through harmony and balance. Okay? Our natural way of being is that of harmony. Every harmonious way that we could be as a collective has been distorted and exploited by way of patriarchy. Matriarchy is the divine feminine, and it is the divine order and law. Okay? Matriarchy. I love that it's just 13 people in here because that tells me that I'm right on the money. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. So it is a symbol of divine creation through harmony and balance. It's all about balance. All about that. It is life birthed through or from unity and not dominance. It's ultimately respect and reverence. That concept has been distorted and exploited to use against us to keep us suppressed and enslaved mentally, spiritually, psychologically. Wearing or meditating with a Ankh reminds the divine feminine of her immortal, creative, or sovereign nature. Get you a Ankh, whether that is a necklace, whether that is on the wall. If you're a painter, paint that symbol. This is an ancient symbol, okay? A lot of times what we'll find is that our ancestors and spirit communicates through symbolisms and numbers, the universe, okay? Our ancient ancestors communicate and created the communication of symbolism. Okay, so knowing that the Ankh represents divine creation, harmony, and balance, it is the divine masculine and feminine, it is the womb, it is the yoni. It's important that you look at this symbol, you meditate with this symbol. Okay, and even I'm feeling like Spirit is guiding me to tell somebody to even look into the sacred geometry symbols as well. Meditate on those. I will recommend you guys start with the tree of life. 1, 2, 3 on my timer. We've been on live for a minute and 23. An hour and 23 minutes. Okay. The sacred tree of life symbol. Let me get y'all a picture of that real quick. It represents interconnectedness, life, and fertility. A good one. Because it's all connected. We are all connected. Even those low vibrational people that don't know who they are, and they operating from their lower ego, and they seek to attack the awakened because they don't understand the importance of the awakened beings and the importance of the divine feminine. Even those people. But this here, if you can see this is the tree of life sacred geometry here, and you can also see the Kabbalah here as well. This represents interconnectedness, as above so below, the tree of life, the yin yang, all of it is truly connected. Okay, so even if you can find a meditation, like even on YouTube or something like that on YouTube, where it is what am I trying to say, like a visual of the tree of life symbol, and you are meditating on that, that will even unlock some things within your psyche as well. Okay, because the goal is to decalcify your third eye, start that lower chakra healing. Okay, that root, that sacral, that solar plexus, and ultimately unlock that heart chakra so that you can evolve and so that you can become free. But you cannot evolve or ascend holding on to all of that emotional trauma, spiritual trauma, psychological trauma, and baggage. Erica Badu said it best. Bag lady, you gonna miss your bus carrying all that stuff. This is what she was talking about. This is the esoteric meaning of that song. Okay, you must heal your chakras, and you must heal the trauma that is keeping you from evolving and obtaining um the gift of discernment and higher consciousness. Okay, the goddess Ma'at, she weighs the heart chakra. If your heart is still heavy and you haven't healed the trauma, you haven't reclaimed your sovereignty, you will not be granted the gift of discernment and the gift of higher consciousness. Okay, that's just how it works. That's why I say there's no going around this. It's no going around it. If you are wondering what's meant by 5D consciousness, this is it. If the Bible calls it the rapture, spiritualists calls it ascension. The rapture is becoming spiritually evolved. That's what the rapture is. The Bible is a book of symbolisms. It's a book of um deeper meanings, right? It's not just, it's supposed to be interpreted psychologically, not physically. It wasn't meant to be interpreted physically, but the Bible was stolen from the Vaticans, which is the high priestess, okay? The 9 ether high priests, women. The Bible was stolen and distorted from the true Vaticans, which is us, our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, okay? But even with the Bible being a distorted and exploited version of the true Vatican, they still had to put truth in there in order to distort and detour people from the actual truth. Okay, so even when there's lies, there's still some truth. Okay, Kuana says, I'm having so much trouble with healing. I need someone. I need to be able to talk about a lot of things to let it out and let go. Okay. This is exactly why spirit is guiding me to to go about things this way. Okay. Because I could feel that this is a message that a lot of women need to know and need to hear and need to be reminded of, and to know that, you know, this is a safe space for us to converse and talk about these very sensitive and hard topics. Okay. I'm not with the drama. I'm not with the back and forth. I'm not with none of that. That's not my focus. Never was my focus. Okay. My focus is healing and transforming trauma and turning your pain into power, reclaiming your sovereignty so that you can show up and be the best version of yourself. Okay. I am about self development. Okay. Personal development and things of that nature. Now, as far as you, Kawana, I would encourage you to start with the ebook if you haven't purchased it already. Just purchase it and truly read it with an open mind, and truly, or ask spirit to truly help you. Read my ebook with an open mind to understand the process, because it's a process. It's a journey. Healing is a journey. It's not you can go start at level 1 and then skip to level 10. It don't work like that. You got to do the footwork. You got to go within yourself and truly deal and heal and ask those hard questions, you know, or relive, in a sense, those really harsh moments that led to the depression, that led to the anxieties, that led to the panic attacks, you know, that led to the distorted version of yourself, the people pleasing version of yourself, you know, the sexual trauma that happened to you as a child, the abuse that took place that happened to you as a child. No, you didn't deserve that. Absolutely not. They were dead ass wrong for the things that they allowed to happen to you as a child. When they signed up to be your parent, they were supposed to protect you. So you absolutely didn't deserve to be mistreated, misused, and abused. However, you must take accountability and responsibility for your own healing journey. If you truly want to evolve and truly learn the art of alchemy and transforming that trauma into, or transforming that pain into passion, or into, um, you know, your greatest version of yourself. Okay. Transforming. I couldn't think of the word I really wanted to say, but you get what I'm saying. Transforming. Okay. Becoming. Okay. And I'm not going to allow anyone to take me off of my purpose, to take me off of, oh, you say I got you in tears, and you know, allow them to flow. Allow spirit to release, help you release what you need to release right now in this moment, Kuana, because it's necessary. And we all have to start somewhere. We all got to start. Hey, fly mama. Say hey, beautifuls. So yes. And I I'm too I'm too I have a tunnel vision on, you know, my purpose and what I am here to do. I know who I am and I know what my purpose is. So I'm not going to allow anybody to take me off of that purpose. And once you heal and you become, you will know exactly what you should be doing to help the collective as well. We are all healers as divine feminines by nature, right? We are all healers, nurturers, okay, by nature. But Heal people, and hurt people hurt people. So the objective is to heal yourself. And only you can do that. I can guide you. I could provide, my wisdom to guide you and lead you to the waters of healing. But it's up to you to sip and drink and allow the waters of healing to truly do a working on you without placing those limited beliefs on your healing journey, or without judging yourself, because a lot of times we will judge ourselves before we can even get to that necessary space that we need to be in to fully heal that wound. Okay. Fly Mama says she talked to trees, the ocean. She said, you don't need someone. You can be that. Then you will know whom you can share with. Absolutely. Absolutely. Say the first time in it. Okay. But nobody could do the work for you. You got to do the work for yourself. I could provide the tools. I could talk to you till you blue in the face. But if it's not penetrating you and you're not comprehending what I'm saying, then the tools that I provide to you may not do what it's intended to do. Okay. So it's important that you already have the mentality that I'm releasing all limited beliefs around healing, and I'm going to allow myself to fully heal without judgment. Okay. So I want you to remember that you are not just a woman. You are a womb barrier. You are a warrior, and you are a wisdom keeper. Everything that you are looking for outside of yourself, you already have within you. Question you. Question every thought that you believed. Question everything that you've been taught. Questioning. Do not place your desires and beliefs on anything outside of yourself. Because as long as you're doing that, then you're giving your power away as a divine feminine. You must go within, question yourself within, and allow spirit to guide you to the necessary information and truths that will resonate with you. Boss T, you almost missed a nice chunk of the teaching tonight, but you can always go back. You can always go back and catch the fullness of this message, which I strongly encourage that you do. Okay. Um, so we're not looking for anybody outside of us to save us, okay? Save yourself. The time of forgetting is now over. Okay. So once you've listened to this message, you can't say that you didn't know. Now, what you do with this information is up to you, but you can't say you don't know. And like Isis, the deity, all set, ancient Kemet, from what was broken, gather your power and protect what is sacred. Your womb is not weak. It is the origin of the worlds, the many worlds, the many realms. Oh, Fly Mama say get a bunny, a trampoline, things that bring out your inner child and make it impossible to be depressed. The ocean is a good one for her, she said, because them waves will get you right real quick. That's absolutely right. Get to some water. Get you to some water and do things that, like Fly Mama said, that will connect you to your inner child. Okay? For me as a child, and I still do this now. But the time where I disconnected from my inner child, I probably did it less. But I like to paint. I like to play dress up. I like to go out in nature. Like Fly Mama say, go to the water. If you're not by a body of water, maybe what I would encourage you to do, take more showers, I guess. Couldn't take more baths, just maybe listen to rain sound meditation, something that will give you that sense of an ocean. Okay. um Also, like my kids, when it's raining outside, they go running outside, y'all. That's a reset. you know they naturally are attracted to water and rain. When it rains outside, if you ain't worried about your hair and your clothes and all of that, go out there and just sit in the rain, touch a tree, hug a tree, talk to a tree. Trees are living beings. Okay, all is vibrating, all is alive. Okay, it's alive. Okay, and the vision that spirit showed me, I know that Mother Nature is truly a living being. Okay, they don't call it Mother Nature for nothing. It is a living entity. Okay, go touch a tree, go hug a tree. If it feel awkward, do it to where can't nobody see you hugging the tree. But reconnect back to nature. Reconnect. Fly Mama says, I have an Osiris in my eye, right? She said, get out that paradigm, because we are not supposed. We ain't right. We're not supposed to. We're not. She say, paying all these bills. She say, Fly Mama says, I love dancing in the rain. Boss T says, does it count if, let's say, it rains and I'm sitting on the porch? Yeah, all of that. Yes, I don't always go stepping out in the rain either. You can collect rain. You can collect rain. You can work with your rain, with your rituals. Okay, it's all energy. Okay, because again, we are detaching from limited beliefs around doing magic and rituals and things like that. Okay, we are nature. Nature is us. And if we are going to fully connect back to nature, then we have to let go all of the religious indoctrinations that told us that energy work and doing rituals and things like that is demonic, when ultimately religion itself is the biggest spell. Hence the term gospel. It is a spell to give you a gospel, God complex, to have you believing in a God outside of yourself. So you tell me, who's really doing the black and dark magic? Okay. The trees hold knowledge. A lot of times, all it takes for me to go outside and stand by one of my trees out there, and I come up with a message right there on the spot. That's all it takes. The trees will telepathically communicate with you if you are willing to listen. They hold intelligence, infinite intelligence at that. Trees are connected by the roots. Can you imagine? All over the world, trees are connected to one another. Wow. They are interconnected. Truly how we should be interconnected with one another as well. But we're making our way back to our ancient roots. We're making our way back. All right. Boss T says, does it go? Okay, I read that one. She says, exactly. I have a spot with ancient trees, and I will pull up and just put my hands on them, guard and get dirty. Yep. I spent the past few days 144 on the timer. I spent the past few days, when I wasn't like on live and things like that, even with me being sick yesterday, I was out in the yard. I was out in the yard clearing out, you know, under the bushes, getting the leaves out, you know, trimming my bushes out there, just, you know, doing a bunch of what I felt like I was just cleansing my outside space around my home, getting rid of all that dense energy, trash and things like that. And it felt good. It felt really, really good. Really good. I try to get outside as much as I can. She said, because us black girls' hair all pressed up, Easter dresses up tight from the start. How many swim for worrying about their hair? Yeah, if you worried about your hair, put a shower cap on. Put a hoodie on, you know. Do what you gotta do. But get out in nature. If you scared of bugs, dress accordingly, I guess. I don't know. But get out. Get out, okay? And that is pretty much it. That's pretty much it, y'all, for this live. I appreciate the ones who stuck around, and the ones that will catch this replay. Thank y'all for y'all feedback. Thank you for the comments, the likes, the subscribes. If you feeling the vibe, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to the bush watchers. Shout out to the very supportive bush watchers, okay? You say laugh. You say the bugs. Yes, I know. I know how it goes. And you know what? That was a real fear of mine, especially like growing up with a mother who is terrified of bugs. It naturally was a part of my being to be terrified of bugs. But I got to a place where it's um, like my mama, she's scared of butterflies and everything. Like that's where I draw the line because I love butterflies. Hold up, we gonna draw the line right there, you know. And then I just started to realize that all insects and things like that, those are creations of the Great Mother. Regardless of how weirded out and icky we may feel and disgusted we may feel about certain bugs, like why on earth are they even here? They are just expressions of the creativeness of the Great Mother. Okay. So when I learned to see it from that perspective, I don't be as scared, but that's not to say that I'm just gonna grab a spider and hold it as a pet. I ain't finna do none of that. I would admire it from a distance, okay? Because I do resonate a lot with the Black Widow. If you look up the Black Widow and what that Black Widow is about, that's SD. So I found some things that I actually like about some bugs when I started to do some research. But do I want a pet bug or roach? No, I do not. No, I don't. No, ma'am. You say we are. You say I was just saying this when you did your genealogy live, that everyone watching was a part of my tree because we are interconnected. Right. Yeah, we are. Hmm. And a lot of times, like our ego, you say, I woke right up on time. I love y'all. I love you too. And you know, a lot of times, y'all too, don't worry about how people judge you. The negative things people say about you, them calling you out your name, you know, them causing things and chaos in your life. Remember this. If you don't take nothing else, which I hope you take a whole lot from this live, okay? Listen to it over and over if you have to, so it can really you can really retain this information. But do know that people project who they are onto others. You don't have to receive none of that. Okay? People only treat you at the capacity of their consciousness. So if they are in a lack mentality, a low vibrational mentality, they're going to project that on to you. It's not personal. Learn the art of detachment. Detachment teaches us that we don't have to accept anything. We learn to be okay with it or without it. How you feel about you is a you problem. That's not a me problem. right? So let's practice the art of detachment by not accepting what people try to project onto you to make you accept for yourself, and then you live out that distorted version of you because of something that somebody said that's toxic, right? You do gotta be in them, be in that fuck 'em type of energy. Like fuck all of that. I'll knock all this shit off the table. Actually, that's how you gotta be, because otherwise, people will get the best of you. People will get the reaction out of you that they want. And you want to stay in your divine feminine power, that warrior spirit, then you got to know when it's your energy and when it's not your energy, when you're going to accept it and when you're not going to accept it. If it's not empowering you to stay in that high vibrational state of mind and your best version of yourself, then that's some straight up bullshit, and they're seeking to humble you, and they're seeking to tear you down. Okay, learn to see things for exactly what it is. Don't add to it. Don't take away from it. Okay, take it at face value. Okay, you said what you said to me. You treated me how you treated me. Okay, cool. I see it for what it is. Let me move around, or let me move you around. All right. All right. She said, laugh her ass off. She said the I weak, not the butterflies. They be pretty. Right. You say, I just don't like bugs having all the open space in the world, but they want to be around. Right, right. I get what you're saying, Boss C. I get it. Say I'm the first they call to catch stuff. I done caught so many bats. Oh, I seen a bat the other night. And if you see certain bugs, or what we call omens, certain birds, certain bugs, certain things, look up the spiritual meaning behind it, because it could be your spiritual guides or your ancestors trying to get a message to you. And you may find some important information if you look up that omen. Okay, so practice that as well. Okay, certain numbers as well, angel numbers, things like that. You say, yeah, fuck them, feed them fish. Okay, on your Jesus shit. Say, laugh my ass off. That's exactly how I am too. People don't play with me these days. No, they don't play with me either. And if they do play with me, that's because they know not what they do. They know not who I am. And I say that humbly. Okay, I say that very humbly. You say, because if you give it space, you'll be a call center taking all complaints. Yep, we all know call centers don't pay. I am not nobody's emotional dump. I am not nobody's dump at all. Okay? We not doing that. We hold each other accountable so that you can own your shit and deal and heal. You ain't dumping that shit on me. I don't receive none of it. And that's how you got to be. As a recovering people pleaser, it was at one point where I had a hard time telling people no, or just being flat. I've always been outspoken and blunt, but the more I healed, the more blunt I became, unapologetically and without guilt, right? No guilt, no shame. It just is what it is. Them boundaries. But be sure to purchase my ebook, because I teach about all of this in my ebook. It's not a very long ebook, but it's powerful and it's transformative. Okay, it's powerful. Kuwana says, thank you. This was a good live. I really enjoyed this tonight. Good night. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. Same to you, Kiwana. Thank you for your support and moderation. Thank you. So I was finna ask about that with spiders, like if it's a meaning when you see them in bird. Yes. See, I felt the need to say that, Boss T. So I'm glad that that was a question you had and I answered. So yes. Absolutely. Lately she's Flat Mama bringing up bees, like to follow her. I was just about to say there's a bumblebee that every time I'm outside, this bumblebee come flying in my face like this, y'all. And I'll be like, oh my God. And every time it comes to my face, I literally shake damn near out my skin. And I'll be like, Spirit, I'm so sorry. I was so scared. I was so scared, but I appreciate the omen. I appreciate the omen because bees are very high vibrational insects. Hummingbirds are too. Hummingbirds have come to me as well. Very high vibrational birds. But birds in general. Okay. So definitely look into the omen meaning of these synchronicities, is what they are. They are synchronicities and they hold messages. You say they would drink and fly right back out. You say you will talk to them. He says, man, you should hit that people pleasing as a topic next. Or have you already did? I haven't done a live about people pleasing, but I definitely can, Boss T. I will keep that in mind. I definitely can, because that is what hinders a lot of people from setting boundaries. It's very important. You say that's why I deleted the damn anxiety song. Yeah, I don't like that anxiety song either. It don't resonate with me. Yeah. Yeah, rebuke all of that. She said, that's why I can't stand Rod Wave. Like, why do y'all listen to this super depressed? Yeah, that's it, Boss T. He is a lot of his music does have that depressive vibe, and yeah, I can't do it either. If it feel depressing, I just can't do it. I can't. Say spiders are weavers, spinners of tales. Tell your story, weave a strong cloth. I love that. Weaving been coming up a lot for me these past couple of days. I love that. And look at the artistry in what spiders do when they weave. They create designs and things. So yes. But that Black Widow, that Black Widow, she's scantless at times, right? I love the Black Widow. Yeah. Say my last house birds will fly in and nest in the bamboo, and there was a hummingbird that will visit. Wow, I love hummingbirds. Love, love, love hummingbirds. But yes, y'all, we going on 2 hours. I said I was not going to be on here longer than 2 hours, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Have a great night. I'm gonna try to go make me some tea and go lay it down. Y'all have a wonderful night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you catch this live, okay? Stay dangerous, stay blissful, stay aware, stay woke, okay? Don't let people play on your top either. Keep them boundaries strong. Have a great night. See you, Christian. All right.